She started Mary Kay Journey in Mary Kay of 2006. By the way, she has one of the most incredible personal stories I've ever heard of a woman. So if you ever have a chance to buy her a cup of coffee, your life will be changed. She's very powerful. She became a sales director in 2009. She's earned 2 company cars, 2 legendary diamond rings. Her highest check in 1 month is excess of $8K. She came tonight with no one on her team. She's just blessing us. She'll never make a commission from any of us. She's just being a Mary Kay Go-Give spirit. Let's give the amazing Enae.
That's my favorite part about Mary Kay.
Jackson-Atkins.
God, my husband loves you. Is he paying you to do that? Because he hates that I won't drop the Jackson. I'm just a real prideful, daddy's girl, And so, nothing personal against my boo. It's just how it is. And so you guys have already heard, prior to Mary Kay, I was a corporate accountant. I am an EA, an enrolled agent with the IRS. Dun, 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 dun. And so I kind of sort of know what I'm talking about. I joined Mary Kay not knowing exactly what I was getting myself into. I joined Mary Kay when I was 38 years old, and believe it or not, I had never heard of what Mary Kay really was. Isn't that crazy? And so I'm super excited to be a part of a direct sales company that allows me 100% tax deduction on almost everything that I do. Are you guys excited about that? Yes. So tonight, I'm not trying to turn you into accountants, because it takes several years of study and heartache and heartbreak and, not going out on dates and, all of that. And I don't want to take your life away from you. But I do want to provide you with maybe a guideline so that you can help assist your tax professional and let them know that you know what to look for when you're having your income tax returns prepared on this year. How many of you, this is your first Mary Kay year? Yay! This is going to be exciting for your income tax return. It's going to be super exciting. When I joined Mary Kay, all of my kids were teenagers. I had one who was graduated from high school. We have 5, my husband and I together. Get excited. And so, they eat like Rottweilers. I always call them that, the Rottweilers. And so we were living paycheck to paycheck, even though we both were earning a 6-figure income. And what I knew as an accountant was that if I had a home-based business, I could shelter our income and be able to hold more of that. It's not about how much money you make, it's about how much you are able to legally keep. Okay, we're being legal. Okay? And so I am going to help you by giving you some legal ways to keep your money. And if you do what I say do, then you shouldn't go to jail. And if you do, you're on your own. You're on your own. Okay, don't be calling me. Okay? That's just how that works. So today you guys have a few little handouts there, and that's just so you can have some some reference material. So the first one, it looks like it's a list of labels, and that list of labels you can print them to like a I think it's 8161 on the Avery. The 8161, is that the one that's like 30 on the? Okay, you getting me? Okay. So, and you can use those labels, and you can like put them on like a folder, and you can separate all of your expenses by. These are generally going to be your expenses. Does that make sense? What I'm saying so far? So I just threw that in there, so you can just photocopy that, and you can have that. There's a second page of them, and of course you can add other things as you need them. Does that make sense? So I just threw that in, like say yay, thank you, Enae.
Yay, thank you, Enae.
I'm only here for the recognition. They never did that for me. I was really a good accountant. I was really good. They never did that. So occasionally I might just ask you to say yay. Okay. So and then you probably have with you like a tax checklist in there, right? Like there's a tax checklist. Okay. So I provided that again as just more reference material for you and your tax professional, because here is the deal, y'all. He or she is not going to know all of your tax documents. Only you are going to know that, okay? So a lot of times you guys will like rush to your tax professional, and then you'll get a notice from the IRS later that says you didn't report this, or something happened, and then you call your tax professional and say you didn't do it. Well, the thing is that you didn't wait on the 1098, right? Because you rushed over to get them done, right? And then now you have to go back and get your taxes amended. Has it happened to anyone in here? It happens a lot to people because January comes and we're just trying to recoup, right? Like, I just need to get my money back, y'all. Instead, I just spent it all on the Xbox 1, 2, 5, whatever it is. And maybe Sam gonna give a sister something back, right? So you just rush on over to the thing, right? People are getting their income taxes, prepared by using their last check and all that, which is slightly off, by the way. And so, but they're rushing. And actually those big tax preparation shops, it actually helps them when you do it wrong like that. So that's why they advise you to do that. Oh, just run on over with your tax, with your last paycheck. That's inaccurate, by the way, by like 3.3 weeks, something like that. That makes a lot of sense, right? So you don't want to do that. So that's gonna be your checklist. So now you're gonna start receiving these things in the mail. If you have a house, you're gonna receive the 1098s for the mortgage, right? You and Mary Kay, you're gonna receive the 1099s from Mary Kay. If you purchase inventory in excess of $5,000, you're going to receive a 1099 from Mary Kay. And or if you received income from Mary Kay in excess of $600, you're going to receive a 1099 from Mary Kay. Does it make sense so far?
Yep.
So commission, if you're getting a commission from Mary Kay and it's exceeded $600 in 1 year, you're going to automatically get that 1099 and or $5,000 on inventory. You're going to automatically get that 1099. It's going to be exciting, yay, because what that does is tells the government that you're not playing. You're really in business. Is that exciting? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this is a real business. Did y'all know that?
Yes.
Y'all did know it was a real business. Okay, just kidding. So that little checklist is just going to help you so that you don't miss any of those things. And so tonight, I'm going to change your life by taking you down the Mary Kay tax information worksheet, which is probably the last 2 pages in your little stack of papers. I promise you that if you complete this, flip one. There you go. If you complete that before you do your taxes or take your taxes to be prepared, you will not miss anything. So we're going to go down these items and I'm going to explain to you how they all fit in, how they all tie together, and how it's all going to make your life more simple when it comes to this, right? I know it's rather late in the year, so we're at the month of December, so this piece of information I'm about to give you is just going to fall on deaf ears. But you're going to come into the month of January prepared to do better. The main thing that you can do for yourself is to keep the best documentation records ever. That means you're keeping every receipt, you're keeping them organized, and you're making sure that you know where they are, okay? So I know that y'all didn't do that this year. I didn't do it for like the last 6 months myself. But, I got a big old shoebox that I have to go back and resort because that's going to be important. You will need to do that so that you can break down each of those expenses into those categories that we gave you just a moment ago on those labels. So we're just going to walk down these things. So the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to look at your income. This is how much money you made. How many of you know where to find your income at? How many of you have sales receipts? Y'all keep your sales receipts? Everybody got your sales receipt? All right, that's your money. That's your money. So when your tax professional says to you, how much money did you make? You're simply going to add up all of the bottom line figures on all of your receipts. That's everything that you sold, including tax. Does that make sense? The bottom line. Okay, any questions? So
After any discounts? The
after
bottom
discount.
line.
It's
Okay.
what you collected.
Got it.
It's the money you took from her, the money you took from him, okay? So that is it, your total. So what you want to write there, just to help you out, write the bottom line. That's the bottom line, period. So how much money did I take, okay? The next portion of income is your commission. So this is going to be the income that's represented on your 1099, okay? So let's say, well, I don't have a 1099. Well, if you have a record of your commissions, because remember, you're only going to get the 1099 from Mary Kay if it meets the IRS benchmark. But that doesn't mean that you don't want to report it, because the more that you report, the more that you are solidifying the expenses that you're going to write off. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. So you have a record of your commissions as well, because Mary Kay sends you that income document along with every check deposit that they give to you, right? You guys get the income advisory? So if you have lost it, that's fine. Mary Kay is going to execute an income advisory link about the second week of January. And they usually send out a notification. It says your income advisory statement is ready, right?
Enae, can I ask a tax question for dummies? Anybody? No. If you're sitting brand new and you don't know what an inventory advisory statement is, basing commissions off of a sales, team that you're building, just your 50% sales, they don't find where their 50% sales are online on the link.
No. So the only way you're going to get your sales income, where are you going to get it from?
Your sales receipt.
And what is it?
Bottom
Oh
line.
my God, right there. Look how
Okay,
smart you
so
are.
this is a separate.
Right. So this is another addition to your income, and on the worksheet it shows you that, right? So you got one column there that says sales receipts, income, right? And then now we're moving on to commissions. If you do not have a 1099, then you're going to look for your income advisory statement in InTouch. Okay, so InTouch is like your Mary Kay Bible, right? So you're gonna go in there and look for your income advisory statement. It's gonna be in reports, and it'll say tax statements, and then you'll see income advisory. It only comes alive once a year when it's time to do taxes. So you'll get all of that in there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And if you're,
stay active.
it'll stay there forever.
Well,
Once it's there, it'll stay there forever for the year that it's active.
When I
Does that
went
make
in,
sense?
it showed me every
So
report.
you'll have it there.
For the prior
Commissions
tax
for
year.
that.
Correct.
Period. So you just
And then there's
spin
the
it out.
prize income. Once again, you're not gonna have prize income unless you're actually getting a 1099 from Mary Kay. So that's gonna be the rings and all that good stuff that we get from Mary Kay that actually shows up on our 1099. Did y'all know that?
No,
Yep.
no.
Isn't that awesome? So that means that you actually going to get to write off like, oh my God, I can't wait till we get to the good stuff. You get everything that you're doing here, you get to write it off. And so Mary Kay makes all of our income a fair market value. The cars, the prizes, the star prizes that you will receive, you will see a fair market value on your 1099 if you earn a 1099. But even if you look on your income advisory statement, if you're less than the benchmark, you're still gonna see a prize income in there. That's gonna be cool. And it's gonna say quarter prize 1 or star quarter prize 2, and that's gonna be income that now you're claiming, that's gonna be the fair market value of your prize. So now you can write off expenses related to earning that prize. Ooh, what? Shut the front door, check your email. So, that's what I love about this. Okay. I do want to remind you that regardless of what you've heard in the past, your weekly accomplishment sheet is not a tax document. Stop it. Just stop it. People, bring that into an audit and they're going to laugh at you, okay? So it's not your tax document. Your receipts and your bank statements, those are going to be your real life tax documents, okay? So that's where all this stuff is going to be found. Are we good so far on income? You guys don't have any other Mary Kay income. Whew. This is it. Sales, commission, prizes. Say it.
Sales, commissions, prizes.
That's it. So don't be making up stuff. This is it. You don't have a basket income. Did y'all know that? You don't have a basket income? You got a sales receipt probably from the basket sale, right?
Right.
So that's in your sales. Isn't that cool? Yeah, so because people just try to make it all complicated, right? And I know that there's some people who are keeping receipts for discounts, right? Like, oh, I gave this away, and they're keeping a receipt for that. I mean, are there any of you doing that? Confusing the situation by doing that? Okay, good. I think I've trained us off of that. Are you still doing that?
Like if we gave away free products?
No, don't get slapped. We'll talk about why you don't need to do that.
Because that would be on your sales receipt anyway. And you're only
actually,
writing down the bottom line.
Here's the deal. And since we're going there anyway, we're going there anyway. Your income, the purchase of your income is 100% tax deductible. The whole thing. You feeling me?
Yes.
So what that means is when you guys are writing those receipts to say, I gave this away, that's just a stupid piece of paper that you don't need, because the receipt that don't have no money on it simply says that you didn't make any money. Right?
Right.
So, and you've already spent the money for the inventory when you purchased the inventory, so you've already taken the write-off 100%. You got it? 100%. Now, if you want to keep a list of your discounts, because that's just the type of person that you are, like
Because
I
I
just
figured
want.
that's the tax section. If you gave away a basket of $100 worth of product to, have it back to the manager's fundraiser, or, am I incorrect, obviously?
Yeah, that's the thought. That is the thought pattern, and it makes sense that we would think like that, right? But the tax deduction has already been taken with the purchase of the inventory, and the fact that you're not receiving any money.
It'll balance it out,
Yeah,
basically.
because you only pay taxes on net income. So you ain't
I
got
was
no.
just asking because somebody back getting
It's
off.
them. I know it. Can't be you. Can't be you, Purple Suit.
They volunteered me.
Exactly. That's what we do. That's what we do.
Okay, guys, I gotta
That's why we
Take
wear the
Michelle.
suit.
Take
We
one for
just
the
get
team.
on up on the cross for the people. Hey, I got you.
If anybody's gonna get slapped, it's gonna be you.
Taking it. See, that's what I'm talking about. Little baby Jesus is all over the place, just taking it for the folks. So this will be it. So here's a really cool thing. All those wonderful pieces of paper that you guys are receiving in your Mary Kay inventory boxes, what are you doing with those?
Throw them away. I put them in my
Amen. Yes, I
folder.
wish I had one with me right now because there's so much information on those. I love those. It's going to give you everything you need, especially when it comes to your inventory. Now, there are going to be numbers. There are these numbers in the top right corner of those receipts. It tells you what your wholesale was, what your, ooh, praise Jesus. All you got to do is ask. All you got to do is ask. And you shall receive. I love every shall in the Bible because they're always loaded. Okay, so here we go. So it shows here your retail section 1, which you're going to get that anyway in your income advisory. You're going to see that anyway. But what I want you to pay attention to is the total taxes paid. See, there's a total taxes paid on there. On this order, it happened to be $4.04. So what you want to do is you want to take all of your total taxes paid on all of these guys, and that number is going to be in your tax line paid from all your packing slips. I'm sorry, I hated that that's not at the top of mine anymore. It's way down at the bottom. So, yeah, it's the sales tax paid. And thank God you have all of these, right?
Yes.
You have all these, yeah? Okay. Y'all
No.
should have these.
We don't have
Because
them. I don't have this.
this will be the only thing missing from your income advisory statement. Ouch. So you want to write that off. Does it make sense? I'm going to hold on to this, okay? Because I'm going to refer to
I
it.
thought that was totaled on your income advisory statement at the end.
Not anymore. Not anymore.
Since when?
Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord. But it's so easy to back into it, though, because if you take the number. If you
Michelle asked me to ask that.
If you there we go under the bus then, Lord. Slide from under the bus. So, you can always just take 8% of your wholesale.
It does pull it for you.
So, well, whatever your tax rate is, I just say 8%, but if you're an OC, 8%, LA, county, y'all know what to do.
9.
Yeah, it'll all work out. Just make sure that and when you add those all up, that's what that's gonna come out to. Make sense? So, you have that. So, the first line, what does it say there on your first line? Beginning inventory? All right, so how many of you started your Mary Kay business in 2015, anywhere in 2015? So I want you to put a 0 there right now. If you started in 2015, your beginning inventory is 0. Because your beginning inventory is your ending inventory from 12/31/2014. Okay? So those of you who are here, you got to go and get your ending inventory from 12/31/2014. So I know you have yours because your husband's been doing your thing.
If I haven't done it in the past 2 years, because I haven't really been working, do I just start new?
You just start, pick a number. Seriously, you just got to pick a number. Because let's say the auditor comes
Or do
over.
I just start at 0?
No, you can't start at 0.
No, because you had something,
You had
Julie.
something. Unless you sold everything. Okay.
You just guess what your wholesale
Yeah, just
was.
guess. Like, I
At
have
the
like,
end of the year.
6 miracle saves. You can mess around with it.
Okay.
And if you guys are using like TurboTax, how many of you guys use TurboTax? That's a good at-home product. Okay? If you're not going to use me, and you're not, then use TurboTax. Lord Jesus. Use TurboTax. TurboTax will not find your deductions, so you should know what they are. Okay? But things like your inventory, it'll ask you, do you have inventory? You'll say yes. It'll ask you what your beginning inventory is. You'll put, 0 or whatever, 602, whatever. You can always tweak that number, by the way. But once you set it this year, you will not be able to change it for next year.
Right.
Your beginning inventory is always going to be your beginning inventory. You get me? The biggest red flag that you're going to have with the IRS is trying to go back and change that number or changing the method at which you came up with the number. They're going to be like, they playing funny business here because this is your biggest write-off.
So, what if you just don't know what that number is?
You're going to arbitrarily make a number up.
I know, but I have a lot of inventory, so I'm afraid to make that.
You have to. You're going to have to get out of that comfort zone and make up a number or go to jail. I mean, it's just that simple. No.
You're telling the queen of the sales of the country she's going to jail.
Yeah, just make up a number. Just make like.
Well, she
like,
was the queen of sales. She knows.
So yeah,
You know
just
what your
value your
retail
inventory.
Okay.
Just value your inventory. You know, and that'll be for 12/31. Like at the end, most of the time we know because we've burned off a lot of inventory doing these basket sales, you know, and all that kind of stuff. I got to tell you honestly, I don't go in and count all the stuff, y'all. Who has time for that? I do not go and count. I know that when the month of December started, I had like 22 miracle sets. You know, I know that I burned off at least 15 of those. You know, and then so on and so forth. I don't have any more shower gels, you know, and stuff like. So I can, pretty much figure it out. You know, those of us even with huge inventories. Directors here, we got fat inventories. Nobody got time to be going through that stuff. No, like we really don't. Like we really. So once you get that number, that end, result number, just be comfortable with it and go on. The only way that number will ever get evaluated is if an auditor comes into your house on January 2nd. And says, let me see the inventory. Because by the time he or she comes to you,
You'll have
burnt that
it's
inventory
changed.
off. That thing changes every day. If you're working your Mary Kay business, your inventory changes every day. You're building and burning every day. Every week, Star Consultants, we're building and burning. Every single week, we're adding and taking, right? So that number is never, ever, ever going to be the same. The only thing that they're going to verify is that you actually purchased the inventory that you said that you purchased, and that number is going to be verifiable through Mary Kay.
For consultants that have a smaller inventory, somebody once gave me a great suggestion. At the end of the year, go in and pretend like you're putting in an order,
Yes.
but mark the stuff that you have on your shelves and then
Exactly.
just print it out so that you have the value, the item number, all that.
Exactly.
stuff.
And I do that. Someone else does that for me. I don't mess around with that. It's not income producing. Okay. But when you get your Applause magazine, how many of you guys get an Applause magazine? All hands should go up, because if you ain't getting an Applause magazine, it means you're inactive. So if you get an Applause magazine regularly, there's an order form in there, right? So you want to pull the last quarter out and do your inventory that way.
And don't forget, it doesn't matter what shade lipstick. You just need to know you have 22 lipsticks. That makes it go way faster.
Because they're same price.
They're the same
Same
price.
price.
You just need to know you have 30 lip glosses.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. That would make sense? Use
That
pencil
saves you a
to
lot of
shade 'em in.
time.
So
You
is
know.
it better to do it like your inventory at the end of this month? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Like
Like in
Friday.
Yep,
on
we'll do it Friday.
New Year's Day, we have nothing.
And then sell from that, and then you'll have a new number. Like don't do any of these sales and then knock it out.
So the more they have, the bigger the write-off.
It depends on how you began. Depends on how you began. So that's not standard. So it depends on how you began. Bills and burns is what, so remember, income is taxable. So a portion of your income is the profit on the sale of your product. So you're going to be backing into a number for the IRS, really is what you're doing. They're going to take, beginning inventory of $600, plus she brought another $5,000. That's $6,200. Oh, but she says she had $10,000 in sales. I'm assuming that now she's actually made money. You feel me? So then we have, so it's not, it just changes. It's what we call the average cost. That's what's happening there. That was a hand.
I just have a quick question. Do you recommend using like QT Office or Pink Office or any of that to automate all of that?
Or unit wise.
I do for layman's. Yeah, all of those work fine. I happen to be an accountant, so I hate those things.
Yeah.
But it's because I understand. So I don't need, a layman's translation. But I understand that for layman's, this is a great tool.
Okay.
It's a great
Unit wise is great.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. I know
They
this-
will import it's really easy. They'll import all of your orders when they come in, and then your sales, and they take it out of your inventory. Like
so
they
you just do your
they do all
orders
that for
on
you.
your iPad
On-
or whatever.
Just do your order on InTouch like normal,
Okay.
and then you press one button and it pulls the order in. It
Right.
knows like that you just received it. You don't have to input that inventory in there.
But when I'm saying when you sell and you
When
write
you
an
sell,
order,
you input
do
it
it
in unit wise.
electronically. Okay.
Yeah.
And it takes it out.
And if you guys are buying other items in bulk to sell, like baskets in bulk to sell, that now is inventory as well. It's not a supply item anymore, right? Like an office supply. This is now part of your inventory because it's a cost of the goods that you're going to sell. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So Mary Kay obviously will not be tracking that for you. You'll be tracking that on your own as business owners. You'll be tracking that with all those receipts. You had to put the teddy bear in there, and and a lot of us do that. We buy teddy bears in bulk. We buy those house robes in bulk, and all that stuff goes in there, and then I mark my basket up. right? So I can get that profit back. So it all now becomes part of my sales inventory. Make sense? Okay. Okay. Good. So we got our beginning inventory, 0 if we're new, right? And whatever it is if we're not. And then the section 1 purchases. This is the cost from your packing slips or your income advisory statements. So on your packing slips, you can take your total cost number and just add those all up, or you can do it more simple. Just look on the income advisory statement and it will show all of your purchases to the company. The only thing that it doesn't show, I have to remind you of this, it never shows through December because they cut it off at November. So you'll know what you did in December by just clicking on your activity, right? Mm-hmm. So sales directors, we always know. And when I'm doing sales directors taxes, they'll send me the thing and I'll be like, dang it, you did not give me. And then I'll look at the director, pink Cadillac. Yeah, she probably did like $1,800 that month. You have the red jackets. Yeah, she did like $625. You know, just like, you know, in the month of December, she sold baskets. She probably just, you know, so I just start, you know, plugging the numbers on. So you want to make sure that you don't forget to add in, you know, manually your December number. So far, so good?
Is section 1 your cost? That's without tax, right?
It's the total cost. It's the total, your cost from the packing slip.
Okay.
The total, okay? Because you're going to have that other number that's going to come out of there.
Okay.
So, okay. And then here is something that I need for you guys to know. Personal use product is not tax deductible. Oh my God. But they said that it was. It's personal. And this is business. So how could your personal use product be business? Right? Y'all mad now. But here's the deal. So what we need to know is how much of your inventory did you use for personal use, because that's the number that you will not be deducting for tax write-offs. And it makes sense, because if an auditor comes to you and says, well, where does that number come from? You will simply show them the lookbook. It's the new look. Would you like to get it? I have it on now. Right? Proof, right? That's all they want is proof. Right? And so that's a good number. And so that's the number that I use. Does that make sense?
Yes.
And if you're actually pulling stuff out brand new, then you can be honest. You know, it's between you and God, but you know, whatever. You know, because some stuff come and I'll be like, nope, I gotta have that. Okay, so our weekly meeting fees, that's kind of like a no-brainer. Office or bookkeeping expenses, those are no-brainers, right? You guys are writing off all of your weekly meeting dues, right?
Yes.
Yep, we're doing that, yes?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you come here, you're writing that off, yes? Yeah, your directors are keeping a log of that, so you can always ask them what that amount is at the end of the year, or you can just take the number of weeks that you attend times the amount. You know, if the auditors ever come, they're going to want to see you and the director who collected the income. So it's going to be all, it's easily provable. Easily provable. And we already talked about sales tax paid. Any questions on that?
We skipped supplies.
Oh, supplies. So these are the supplies that you are going to be using in your work. So when I say supply, these are like Q-tips, cotton balls. These are Section 2 items. Section 2 item, they're like Section 2 items. In fact, on your income tax return, they'll both go in the same place. Okay. But these are like those Q-tips, those cotton balls, pens, all the stuff that you use at your skincare classes that you're not getting from Mary Kay on Section 2, because Mary Kay is going to give you that number. And in fact, as we work down this list, you'll see a box for that. Mary Kay's going to give you that number. But you guys are going, to Rite Aid, picking up other stuff, right? Aren't you getting ink pens all the time and, all that kind of stuff? And so those are going to be there. These are not in your office, but they're for your work. Make sense?
Would, like, say you're hosting a party and you buy food and cups and drinks, would that go somewhere else?
Yes, that's going somewhere else.
Okay.
That's going somewhere else. That's a good question.
For baskets, you said buy in bulk would go in up top, but if it was like one teddy bear, is that supplies?
Yep.
Okay.
Gonna go here. Good question. Because this is the stuff you're gonna
Like
use
the
on the road. Yeah.
Like the stockings, the bears.
Yes, because it's going on the road. This is you're gonna just use all this stuff, burn it all off while you're out there, right?
Floral ribbon.
And it's not necessarily what you're gonna be selling. It's what you're using to sell.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that goes where?
In supplies.
Supplies, okay.
And when you're doing your tax returns, you're gonna see this. Either you're doing it automated, there's gonna be a question that's gonna ask you that. And it should explain to you what the differences are. On the labels that I gave you too, I kind of gave you some little notations there as to what goes there. Does that make sense? Okay. When we're hanging with the crew, switch off who gets the receipts. Because if it's not 2 or more on the receipt, it's not considered a business meeting. So now it's not a tax deductible cup of coffee or sandwich.
That's
or
travel
whatever.
or meals and food?
It's see, this is okay. Ooh, this is when it gets good.
Sorry.
It's when it gets good.
Great question.
I know, this is when it gets good. So, in your meals and entertainment expense, you have a breakdown of travel meals, business entertainment, right? Travel meals is when you are taking a meal, whether alone or not, outside of 50-mile radius from your home. So if you guys are within 50 miles, then make sure it's 2 on the receipt, because that's the only way you're going to get to write that off to meals and entertainment. So that's not travel. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Everything else is travel.
And you can
I
have
think
one
they
on the
actually
receipt.
brought it down to 38 miles now.
30 miles.
Yeah, 38 miles. So anything over 38 miles, you can just be you on the receipt. Under 38 miles, got to be at least 2 on the receipt. And you're going to write it off to meals and entertainment.
So if you're at seminar and you buy yourself food,
Everything for seminar is tax deductible, whether it was down the street, 2 miles away, because those of us who are going to LA, we actually going 38 miles away, right?
I was gonna say that.
We're going 38. But it's travel. Those of us who, have lived here all these years and we've gone to Christy Ann's Turning Point where it was like right at the Radisson and we live like right next door, that's travel because we had to check into the hotel. We had to, that becomes travel expenses. Everything related with that, the meal, the hotel, everything. Does that make sense? So every single thing that goes, with that. When you get to meals and entertainment, it's going to ask you, which part of these meals were just you eating at a meeting, and which part of these meals were you eating on travel, and which part of these meals were you having a get-together with your group for the purpose of building team camaraderie and business planning. One of them is going to be a 50% write-off, and the other is going to be 100%. So it's important that you know the difference.
The 50% is the just you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but you'll see that in your, as long as you're putting them in the right boxes on your little sheet here, then you'll be fine. Okay, and we're actually going to run travel and meals again, and we're going to break that out. Does that make sense so far? Mm-hmm. How we're getting this? So just keep every stinking receipt, and know that just because you were hanging out at Starbucks by yourself and you warm chatted a lady who was in line, you're not going to write the cup of coffee off. Okay.